you can hear me. I hope the sound is up, right? So if you can hear me, just give me thumbs up. My colleagues at the back end, let me know if there is audio, so that we can get right into it. Right. Okay. If you have somebody that you love, you have a love interest. Okay, so I'm told that audio is up. So you have a love interest. You have somebody that you love. Can I? Can you just let us know? Like you're married, you hope to get married. Well, if you're not married now, hopefully someday you'd want to get married. So it's important for everybody to learn. I think the things that make life and marriage beautiful. If your marriage, right, we know that, in fact, it's a predictor of longevity, how well you are able to live in harmony and peace with your partner. It's a predictor of your mortality and your mobility. Hey, Michael, thank you, welcome, thank you for joining us. So, in fact, intimacy in marriage, the longer a couple are able to maintain intimacy, people that are intimate longer, regularly intimate in marriage, they tend to live longer than those that do not. So, a loving marriage, a loving relationship is important to living long. But if you read the media today and just go through the news, you will really discover that a lot of people are struggling. Yeah, they are struggling with their marriages. They are struggling with their. We have very high incidence of intimate partner violence. People killing their spouses. People harming their spouses. All kinds. And those that are not even harming their spouses, a lot of relationships ending in divorce, and for people that don't end in divorce because they feel there's nothing else to do, there's nothing better to do. A lot of people living in regret, pain, and sorrow. So, but this doesn't have to be. It's not. Marriage can be a beautiful thing. Having somebody that you can share and relate with is greatly important to for health and well-being. It's important for companionship. We know that lonely people, right? Loneliness is a key predictor of morbidity and mortality, right? So that you feel you are lonely, and you can be in a relationship and be lonely, but that you are just lonely, feel alone, that will damage your health. The data is not ambiguous. It is clear that people that are in loving relationships with support around them, they tend to live healthier, wholesome lives. But the question now is, how do you get into a loving relationship? I saw a video recently of a bride, the the bridal train, the cloth, the bridal dress, the train of that dress. Um, they it took they had to pack her into the car to enter, and people were making fun of her. Why do you have to wear this kind of dress? Why this kind of elaborate, widely elaborate thing? And some people were just saying, well, we hope that after this lovely, fantastic, elaborate dress, that the marriage does not end in shambles. Some people, in fact, after spending so much for a wedding ceremony, their marriage, their union, their living together, it becomes a nightmare. In fact, some people, the money that they spend on their wedding ceremony, they would have saved themselves a whole load of earth if they had learned other things that will keep their marriage intact. So, wedding ceremony, fantastic. Every woman, but not, let me say every woman, most women have an idea of what I want my marriage to look like. I want my bridal train to be like this. I want it to be this long. I want to dance like this. They have rehearsed this so many times in their minds, and that's all well and good. That's all dandy and great. However, it's also important that we give even more thought to how we now live together after that wedding ceremony. So I want to say some secrets these are some things that I've looked at, studied, read about, and that I've also tried to implement in my own marriage. So if how to improve and boost your love life. So I've been married for 16 years now, over 16 years, going to 17 years. So I think I'm still a student. I'm still learning. I won't say I've learned everything there is to learn about marriage and intimacy, but I think I have a fair sense by studying, by living it, walking it, and I want to share some secrets that I think may benefit us all as we look to improve our love life. So, before people get married, especially for people that have religious persuasions, one of the things that you think happens when you get married, if you have kept yourself, you don't have sex before marriage and stuff like that. You should think, oh, once you get married, sex is everything. You're going to have sex 24/7. You eat it, you will sleep it. But we know, as many people will quickly discover, that sex as an action in itself cannot sustain a marriage. Sex, in fact, will need to flow from intimacy. Sex that is divorced from intimacy becomes even unpleasurable, even painful, so to speak. Sex in itself is a physical exercise that may not have the depth of meaning if it's divorced from intimacy. So sex flows from intimacy. So if you want to save your love life, sex is important, definitely very, very critical. But as we get to discuss, a sense of intimacy is missing, is not there. It may just be that one party may be enjoying the sex and the other party is just doing it just for doing sake, or every now and then it becomes something and then becomes an issue. But it needs to flow from a sense of intimacy. So the things I want to share with us are things that will help you build intimacy. Because if you have intimacy, a sense, and intimacy is a feeling, it's it's a sense, it's a whole lot of things mixed together that gives fuel to a relationship. If a relationship has the following things I want to discuss, that relationship will be intimate, will thrive, and will grow. Right? So the first thing I want to say is what? It's communication. Right? Communication. Now, please and please don't marry someone you can't talk to. Someone that you don't enjoy conversing with, that you cannot converse with, that you cannot discuss with, that every time you try to, and if you find yourself in a relationship, you're married, you are communicating before, and just find yourself that every time you try to talk to one another, it leads to misunderstandings, it leads to fight, it leads to then your marriage needs a rework, it needs an intervention. You need to get to ask what is going wrong, what is the problem with our relationship, and how can we communicate better. Because if you cannot communicate, that relationship is in dire straits. That relationship is in trouble. So communication, the ability to enjoy each other's company and to talk. If you start finding yourself that you are saying something with someone and the person is hearing something else, and that's why it's important, for instance, that people, before they tie the knot, before they get married, you need to find out, can this person and I just talk and enjoy each other's company without touchy, because like you will, when you get married, when you are in a relationship with someone and everything all about that relationship is physical, it's going to wear out. Somebody said the beautiful ones are not yet born. So there's going to be someone more handsome than your partner. There's going to be someone more beautiful than your partner, especially as you age and go down the years. So what's going to be important is, can we talk? Can you listen to me? Can you hear me? Can you hear what I'm saying and what I am not saying? Right? Beyond what I am saying, can you read my no? And that's what happens when a couple are so into one another. It starts to happen after a while. You can complete each other's sentences, right? You know what he's thinking. He says something, he does something, and I was just about to say that. I was just about to think that. Are you in my mind? Are you me? Am I? Because of communication. So communication is the bedrock of an enduring intimacy. Enduring intimacy. And in our environment now, part of the problems that now comes up is a lot of people now, how do you sustain that feeling, that intimacy, that sense of communication if couples stay apart for an extended period of time? It's possible, but it comes with its own challenges, especially in our environment in Nigeria, where we now have what we call the Japa syndrome, right? So people want to leave. So somebody is in one country and the other person is in another country. How do you communicate? It may be difficult, but it can be done. You must just find ways to bridge that gap, because communication, effective communication, is the bedrock of a solid love life. So do you talk to your partner? Because your partner hear you. Can you just sit down, talk, or even when you don't talk, when you are just there, at peace with one another and able to communicate with one another? Now, the more important part of communication as we talk about love is, how do you communicate, especially when you're upset with one another? Right? So the things that you say, especially when you're upset with one another, or when you feel you're not being heard, or how it becomes a measure of your relationship, the strength of your relationship. So if because you are angry with one another and then he runs you down, she runs you down, she says your secrets out and just goes off, that marriage is becoming an abusive relationship, that love relationship. So if you are dating someone, those are, I say to people when I counsel people, I wear another hat beyond my physician hat. I get to be able to talk to people, counsel people, advise people. I say to people, because I've seen it, I've read it, that people actually really don't change. They don't change. People become more of what they are. So whatever anybody you are relating with is now, if you could look for the right signs while you are courting, while you are relating with the person, you will see it. It will be there, right? So if you are talking to someone, you are courting someone, and you are just checking it out, you are dating, and the person behaves in a violent, not physically violent, but verbally violent while you are still courting, says hurtful things just to get back at you, just because you are angry, and then when the person is no longer angry, becomes all loving, all great, that's a sign, that's a danger signal that that person really does not maybe have your best interest at heart all the time, because the ability to communicate, especially when you are off, what you say when you are off is more important to me than what you say when you are happy, when we are all dandy, when I just bought you a gift, or when you just gave me a gift, or when no, 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 no. What you say and how you resolve differences when we are upset with one another is actually, to me, more important than what you say to me when you feel great. So communication is a pillar, a pillar, very important pillar of building a love life. It's a secret. It's an open secret, so to speak. Because if you go and check divorces, one of the chief reasons why divorces break down, it's not really because of intimacy. Yes, if you read newspapers sometimes, you see somebody say, "He has not slept with me for 3 years. He has not slept with me for 5 years, or so I want divorce." But often, if you dig deep, the chief reason, one of the chief reasons, not even money reasons, right? One of the chief reasons why marriages break down is breakdown of communication. So if you want to build your love life, find ways to communicate. Find ways to say I love you. Find new ways to say it. They talk about love languages, service, gifts, time. Find out what works for your partner And now this works both ways. So some people, these acts of service, that's how they show people that they love them. You just want to do something for them. Why some other people, that may not mean much for them. What they want is, don't do anything for me, you don't buy something for me. I want gifts from you. So find out from your partner what works. So if your partner is somebody that serves to show that he loves, just wants to do things for you, and then you like gifts. So when you see him do something, just know that he's trying to communicate love, and then you can steer him in the right way or steer her in the right way so that you can come. If you can still talk to one another, your home is on a solid foundation. The next one that I want to talk about, the next secret of an enduring love life is what? Understanding, right? Understanding. Do you people understand your tiny differences and are able to accommodate them? And are able to accommodate them. You need to know for yourself what's a deal breaker. You need to determine it. What is a deal breaker that if I see this in you, excuse me, no. And you should identify that before you make a commitment, And so understanding is critical. Knowing that you are different and embracing that difference is very important to building a love life. If you don't try to make me your opinion of what you think I should be, and I shouldn't also try to make you my opinion of whatever I think you should be. You know, some people are not in love with their partners, they're in love with the idea of what they think their partner is, right? And so when things happen that seem to go against that idea, wow, it becomes a huge problem. Because just go, is this you? Is this you? This is not. Because once you're caught in and once you start to live with someone, you may start to see things that you did not see. They say love is blind, but they say marriage is an eye opener. So you will need to be understanding. You cannot live well with someone if you don't have a huge dose of patience and tolerance for their differences that are not deal breakers. So that's why I said at the beginning, you need to find out for yourself what's a deal breaker. What's a deal breaker? What can't I live with? I can't live with this. I can't cope with this. And you would have seen that before you make commitment to people. So but once you now make that commitment, the other things that are not so important, please don't make them important. So don't major in minors, right? Don't major in minors. Embrace those differences, love those differences, and the things that I wish you could do this, you can pass it across in a loving way, in an understanding way, because understanding is critical. You are different people with different experiences. Even sometimes you don't love yourself. If you are going to be totally honest about the matter, you do things sometimes I just say, what? Benga, why did you do this? How could you have done this? But you don't fight, so you don't kill you. Hopefully, I hope you don't harm yourself because of that. I hope not. I really hope not. So, if you are now with a partner, somebody else, with totally different new life experiences, it is possible uh, that you may have some differences, right? It should be expected. It's not just possible. It's going to be expected, and then you may see something else, and then you get to so. And this person has a funny habit. That this person, when he's eating, when he's all by himself, or like when you're on date and it's all prim and proper, when he's eating all by himself, that he just chews his mouth and makes noise with his mouth. You will need to look for an understanding way to communicate that. Do you know what happens where there is no understanding and then we strive to communicate? We can communicate and hurt one another. And when you start to do that, what happens? Ego sets in. I will not take that. No, I can't take that. How can she say that to me? How could he have done that to me? And then you react out of anger. You react with, and then you do things that you ought not to do. Why? Lack of understanding. So please have a huge dose of understanding. That's a great secret I'm giving to you free of charge to help your love life. It's understanding that may make you to say I'm sorry when you feel you are right. Right? And these are the things that break homes. People that look like they love one another, and suddenly everything breaks apart. What happened? The understanding finished. So they went from understanding to lack of understanding, right? And then miscommunication starts to come in. Somebody believes this, another person believes that, and they strive and then fight and then rah, 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 rah. And then everything eats the rocks. So you want your love life to get better? Please understand better, right? So two pillars, two secrets I've given you. Number one is what? Communication. Number two is what? Understanding. Let me give you a third one. Number three is what? Trust. No love, intimacy will survive without trust, right? It feeds into each other. So these things are not mutually exclusive. Communication. So even when you mishear sometimes, because you understand and you trust your partner, you say, no, no, they couldn't have met that. So you see to clarify. But if you don't have trust, if you enter into a relationship on the background of distrust, you're already setting yourself up to fail. And I say to people that trust is a function of knowledge. So I give everybody a blank level of trust. If I meet you, I give you a certain amount of trust. But you start to earn more and more of my trust as we get to know each other. And you now get to a setting. Once you commit to someone that this person is my partner, you need to trust them. If you start to check the phone, who is he talking to? Who is she talking? You will just harm yourself, right? And you start to make your marriage to sink in the quicksand of distrust. Is that your love? He said, what is it? Who is it? No. So I will hope that you have enough good judgment to choose a good person, right? I hope you will trust yourself that your judgment is sound to be able to evaluate people, to know their values, your values, are they aligned? And then to make a commitment to that person. Now you are married to that person. Please trust. And where there's distrust, clear it up. Where issues come up, but trust is important. If you give trust based on knowledge, like I said, based on how much I know you, based on your antecedent, based on the things that you have done, but don't put a millstone of distrust on your partner's neck and expect them to betray you and expect them to do wrong. But I knew it. My spirit has been telling me that you are going to do this. All men are bad. All women want money. No, 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 no. You marry someone, you chose someone. Trust that person. Give that person trust and let that person know I trust you. I'm trusting you. I'm being vulnerable because when you trust someone, you're being vulnerable to them. I'm being vulnerable to you. I hope you're not going to harm me. I trust you are not going to hurt me because love, not secrets to improve your love life. Once you say you want to walk in this love game, what you are invariably saying is, I'm open to getting hurt. If you cannot be hurt, then you cannot love, right? If no one can hurt you, then no one can love you, right? If you make up your mind that nobody is going to be able to hurt me, I'm going to be Superman, Superwoman, what invariably you are saying is, I'm not going to allow myself to be loved by anyone, neither am I going to love anybody. Because love hurts, right? People that we love, when they do things that, if somebody just says something on the road, unless I won't care much what you say. But if my wife says something about me, it will hurt me more. If my colleagues that have invested in me, if I hear them say some things about me, probably will love because there's a platform, there's a relationship. If my kid say something about me that I don't expect, I would probably be up because I love my child and I hope she loves me. So if I now see something that is out of tune, then I will feel hurt. So love opens you up to the possibility of getting hurt. So what gets you out of it? Communication, understanding, trust. Right? Like I said, I hope you have enough. Your judgment is sound enough to have chosen to look at the right things. You have getting enough knowledge, and that's the reasons why we are doing this. So that you know what to look out for. You see the signs there. The person is you're dating someone and he has never bought something for you, and you say it's because he's broke. No, 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 no. He's selfish. So don't marry him if that is the deal breaker for you. But if you marry him, don't now expect him to buy things because he's shown it to you that I don't give jack. I don't like giving things because love always gives, right? So if somebody says he loves you and refuses to ever give you things when you are cutting, it just simply means that person is selfish. Doesn't mean he doesn't love you. So you need to ask yourself, like I said at the beginning, that is that a deal breaker for me? Can I live with someone that is selfish, thinks about himself, does not want to make sacrifices for me? I will hope you will not make that choice. But if you choose to do that, then don't expect the person to change 5 years down the line simply because you have 3 kids for him. He may not. Or you have 4 kids for him. He may not, right? He may not. So love, so communication, understanding, trust. The final one I'd like to say is what? Sincerity. Naked and not ashamed. Naked and not ashamed. We can talk to one another. There's no forming, there's no air. And there's a way we catch it when somebody intuitively, when we feel somebody is not being sincere with us. You can fool people a few number of times, but you cannot fool me all of the time. And once I catch you that you've not been sincere with me, I just okay, because I just put that into the memory bank. That okay, this person, this far, not further than this, because it's important that when you say A is A, and when you say B is B, right? If you are not sincere, if you find somebody you cannot be sincere with, and like I said, it must be earned. Is you don't just meet people on the street from the first time. Say, oh, this is me. Oh, this is my mind. I am a plain book. You can read me up and down. No, no, no. Please don't be. Yes, I appreciate a certain degree of transparency, but trust must be earned. Yeah, the sacrifices that you will make for your partner should not be the same that you will make for everybody on the road. You would like to think I'm different. You love me different. You trust me different. Our association is different, right? Sincerity. These things that I've said, the things that they now do is to help you to give you a platform to build intimacy, right? And the final thing I'd like to say as the secret to building a fantastic love life is move with the right crowd. So, and that talks your values, the people that you speak with, the people that you take counsel from, the people that you see as your example. If you have the wrong example and you move with the wrong crowd, you may pick up things that these pillars, so to speak: communication, understanding, trust, sincerity. And if you move to the right crowd, where there's something like miscommunication, they may be able to help you get it on the right track. They may be able to say, no, 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 why don't you think of it this way? Or you may sit them and take encouragement, take strength and comfort for them so that you can have a better love life. And then you know what? If you have all these things in place, something that you want, that you wish is going to happen. Then you're going to have a great intimacy life, and that translates to a great sex life in with the person that you love. Yeah, there are a few other things that we could talk about if we start to talk about sexual relationships, tips, tricks. But even if you don't know any tip or trick to be a better lover, if you get these things, you will teach yourselves, right? You and your partner will learn. You don't need to watch pornography to learn tips and tricks, because porn is not real. It's fake, right? It's a lie. It's all make believe. It's totally and porn actually can rob you of intimacy in your marriage because of wrong expectations, mismatched expectations. But if you are gentle with one another, speak, say to your partner, "This is what I want. This is what you want." You are wanting to give rather than just receive, right? You are patient with one another. They would have known. She would have told you, "Uncle, don't just come and just do whatever you want and get up and say you have done, because it doesn't work for me that way." Then you will know it, because you want to please. You're communicating, understanding, trust. You are sincere. She's sincere with you. You are sincere with her. Uh, It will help everything, right? To help your love life. You deserve to be loved. I don't know, somebody out there may need to hear that. And you can be loved and you can love. But loving somebody, like I said, it just means that you are willing to be hurt. Doesn't mean you should expect to be hurt. No, certainly not. You shouldn't expect to be hurt. But just know that it can, and that's why love is a huge commitment. To say to someone, "I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you." So some people that believe in monogamy. I know some people don't believe in monogamy, they believe in open relationships. But as the research shows and people's experiences show, open relationship be rough. Even if say you want to choose an open relationship, you still abide by these principles of communication, understanding, sincerity. In fact, it may be even more important in open relationships, in quote, than a monogamous relationship, because human beings, we can't we get jealous, right? We want what is ours, and what is ours want to be ours. So even people that are in open relationship, the way they make it work is that they have some rules. They have some rules of what they want or what they don't want. But that's not what I'm here to talk about today. What I'm here to talk about is you, and whatever it is for you that you want in your love life, you can achieve it. So please communicate better. Understanding is important. Trust is critical. Sincerity. And then, of course, like I said, move with the right crowd. So I hope I've made sense. These secrets are often secrets. They are things that if you work with, you can have a beautiful love life. You can have a fantastic love life. And by doing so, you'll be extending your life. You'll be giving yourself a better life, because peace, a loving home, a loving relationship is important for health and well-being for people that choose to get married. And those that don't even choose to get married, they still need to overcome loneliness. Loneliness, so you can have friends, deep friends, and you also still need these things as you relate with people, right? Okay, so if we have questions, comments, and contributions, we spent about 36 minutes so far. We can still take a few more minutes to answer questions, take contributions, take comments before we end the show for today, to look forward to next week by the grace of God. All right, questions, comments, contributions. Do we have any questions? Do we have comments? Do we have contributions? All right, thank you, BG. Any question? I don't know. I hope I met our expectation of what we wanted to discuss. So when someone says secrets of love life, maybe they expect me to talk a little bit more about sex and all that stuff like that. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. Um, so any question, any other question, comment, right? Okay, so we don't have, so a big thank you to everyone that has joined us today. It's a pleasure to come your way. Thank you for giving us time out of your busy schedule to join us on Living Health TV Live. So I'd like to ask that you please subscribe to our channel if you've not done so. Like this video, and please share on your statuses, with your friends, on your stream. Thank you, ma. Thank you, Madam Temitope. I'm grateful to always have you here. Your all being here makes it worth it to come and do this. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful weekend ahead. God bless you. Life, as area doctor will say, make you remember, say life, you know, get duplicate. God bless you.